Hello and welcome to my channel. I'm Rebecca and today we're going to be talking about some pieces that I'm knitting for autumn and some things that I am actually frogging. Well, hello and welcome. If this is your first time here, I'm based in the north of Spain. I am a knitter. I also occasionally embroider, and this is the channel where I talk about those things, what I learned through them, and sometimes there's some books and some media thrown in it. So basically, I'm Rebecca, and this is the channel about my hobbies. If you are one of my friends that is coming back to check, thank you so much for being with me. I've taken a break over summer because, as you already probably know, in the northern hemisphere it's been too hot and I've been knitting, but I've actually been more focused on studying. But I am ready to talk about autumn, despite all the fact that today is the first day that I can actually wear something more than just a t-shirt. But the leaves are falling, and to be honest, I've only made one summer item, and I've just been slowly curating my list of things that I actually want to make this year and things that don't serve their purpose. I'll give you a bit of context. We'll talk a little bit of some things that I'm making, and in the middle I'll throw in some other alternatives for you and the things that I'm frogging, so it doesn't become boring and it's a bit more entertaining. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed this one and let's get on with it. The first one is the nice cozy cardigan. I feel like every knitter I know comes up at a point in their life that they realize that they need more cardigans, and in my case I realized earlier this year, and there's nothing I can do. I cannot avoid knitting flat. I refuse to stick, so I started my Olga jacket, which, by the way, I think I'm binding off finally today. I also started a countdown cardigan made of scraps and leftover yarn, but I only made one panel and stopped. I realized, you know what I want? I want a nice cozy cardigan for when I'm home. And I don't know you, but like, knitting is very expensive, and as a single lady, I pay for my own bills. And last year, I realized that actually what I needed the most was a nice, cozy cardigan to throw on when I'm studying in my studio, which is right here, or just to be at home. So I took a look at what I had in stash, and I had two patterns from Caidree, and one of them is the home cardigan. And I really wanted to knit something from Caidree. The reason why I really wanted to make something from her is because one is a really good designer, has a really nice kind of like style in the Scandi kind of vibe that is like good old basics, but she's very size inclusive. And the thing that convinced me the most has been her unwavering support this last year, honestly, with the Palestinian cause. So I was like, you know what, you've got even more of my respect now than you had before, and I'm going to knit one of your designs. And so I decided to knit the home cardigan. So that is project number one for autumn. I already started it, and it's made out of like a yarn that I frogged from the throw over sweater from Andrea that I knitted 3 years ago. I think it was the first colorwork sweater that I made, and I'm not a fan of how I made it or how it fit me, so I frogged it last year, and it's in this color that is called anthracite, and I do love basic yarn, so I made that. And I'm using also one of my favorite yarns. I'm sorry, I'm getting distracted because I'm watching a lot of like tourists go by, which is this one from here, and it's West Yorkshire Spinners. And I hope this doesn't look up, because they're gonna be like, what the hell is that person like talking to and like showing knitwear in the middle of this heat? So I started. It's not gonna look good because you know how it is until I frog it, but it's a drop down sweater cardigan, sorry. And I've decided to add like some stripes. That would be really nice. And it's in the color palette that I assigned to myself, which is like, I suit dark grays as my neutral and I suit red. But yeah, I'm almost all the way done with the body, but I just left it there because I'm gonna do some of the sleeves and then go back to it. If you think that I added stripes also because I don't have enough yarn, you might be right. The other cardigan that I decided to make is going to be a self-draft one. So, and this beautiful bowl that my friend Marta made me, I thrifted. I sold a lot of like yarn that I had in stash that I was not going to use. And one day, as you are scrolling down Vinted, I found this yarn from Cecia. Oh, and I've got like 11 skeins of this, which is a very me red. And I was toying with the idea of what to do. Like, I really want to do cables. Like, I want to do a cable garment this year because I've not done more than cables in accessories, but then comes the problem of like yardage. So I didn't have enough for the Louder cardigan by Rebecca Clow, which I really want to make as a cardigan. And I have the pattern, but I was like, this is not going to be possible. And then there was another one, the book club. Obviously not enough yardage, plus everyone needs a little bit more what's stated in the pattern. And then I was toying with the idea of self-drafting because I've got the book called Top Down Sweaters. And yeah, basically I've been wondering about self-drafting. I got my main inspiration from Millie, from what's Millie making, because she starts self-drafting cardigans, and she's just like the queen of modifications for me, but like there are some other people. And when people start to talk about their thought process about how they do things, I'm like, it can't be that difficult to self-draft something. But at the same time, I don't want it to be this kind of thing that I rush and then I do like a sloppy job. Like, I'm willing to do mistakes, but not because I want to come here and show a finished project. That is not the vibe that I'm going for. So I've got 11 skeins of that yarn, and I'm gonna self-draft like a drop-down shoulder cardigan. Pretty much in the style that I'm doing with the other one. One, because it's good with basics. Two, because I want to wear my knitwear and my cardigans with something else than jeans. I've been wearing a lot of I'm wearing one of them now, slip skirts this summer, and I think they're really versatile for winter. They're really my vibe. And I want to get like a pair of chunky loafers as well. And I just thought, this is going to work. Like, it's going to work in my wardrobe and it's going to work for work. So when I'm going to work and I have to wear like my uniform, I can just throw it on top. And my main inspiration is a cardigan that I saw when I watched the movie Past Lives. I'm obsessed with that film. I've only watched it once because it broke me. But believe me, I paid attention to everything. It's in my top 5 of favorite films ever. Everything about it, I think, is just beautiful. There's a scene in which the main character, Nora, and I love that actress from the morning show. If you watch the morning show, you're gonna recognize her. She goes to this kind of like writing retreat, and she's having a coffee. I think she's stepping out of the house she's allocated in, and she's wearing a very simple drop-down cardigan with like an exposed seam in like a dark gray. I think I'm gonna try to recreate a cardigan in homage to one of my favorite films. I've wanted to do it for a long time, and I'm putting it up here because then if I record it, I'll have to stick to it. And I'm nothing but a woman of my word. If you want a cozy cardigan for like staying in or going out, there's some really cute options for you. I pretty much like Badana from Rosa Pomar. I think Jonathan Bays made it, but I think you can like crop it if you want it to be a little bit more into the current trends. Or yeah, you can keep it just long. It's just a nice Aran weight cardigan, easy to throw. There's another one that it was also, I think this one was also in a Lane magazine issue a while ago. It's called the Visiting Cardigan, and the designer is Stella Ackroyd. And it's Aran too, but this one is knitted on 4.5mm needles. It has a nice, beautiful texture. I'm not really sure what the texture is, but if you get bored with like plain stockinette, and it looks really good, it will be a really nice addition. And now we're going to talk about pieces I'm removing from my wardrobe, and to give you positive, yarn that I'm recovering. I already started with this one a while ago. I'm so sorry because I really like the designer and I like the design, but this is my first sweater by Lisa Hester or Hive Knits in here. And I'm like, oh, I'm so sorry that I'm like frogging this, Lisa, because I really like doing it. But I made this for my mom, yeah, pretty soon into my knitting, within the first year knitting. And I made some mistakes. I'm gonna try to find in the Half Fisherman's Rib that I tried to ignore and live with. And my mom, this was for my mom, could live with it because the color is nice and she really like it. But my mom is smaller than me. This is huge. These sleeves, I think this was size 3, are huge. And it's Half Fisherman's Rib, so obviously it's going to stretch. and then I made a mistake that you can see here, that she was fine with it, but I kept on going because I didn't want a frog, and I was never fine with it, which is that one. You can see it right there. And just overall, it's too big. So I'm getting back this yarn, which is I think Drops Flora and Drops Kid Silk in beige, which is a really nice color for her. It really suits this vibe. And I would probably be making, I've got a couple of options. One is a lento sweater, and I feel really comfortable making it just nice fit for her. The other one that I've always wanted to recreate again, and actually I've never done it, but it's one of my most worn sweaters, is the Semper sweater by the Knit Girl. All depends on how much yardage, but for now I'm recovering this, and I may surprise her like at some point next year, you know, not being her birthday or Mother's Day or anything, and be like, I've remade it and this fits you. Now, from Cozy Cardigan, we're going to move to Colorwork Project because it's my favorite thing to make. I've decided to keep it small, and we all know that, if you don't know, I always plan to make socks, and I never make more than 1 or 2 pairs a year. And this is that time of the year where I usually start them. I've got the Sock Project book by Summerly Designs, and I keep going to the ripped socks and started them and doing my shenanigans, but you know what? Deep down, I know I want to make the sunny side up socks. The reason why this will fit in my wardrobe is because, again, could you imagine it would look like this with like one of those slip skirts, those socks, and like loafers? Just brilliant. And yeah, I want to show more my knitted socks with my shoes in autumn, and I just think that pattern is amazing. I've been obsessed with it since it came. It's stunning finger and weight yarn. I know that colorwork tension is not my forte, and I'm just gonna throw myself into the deep end. I know that I like her patterns. She explains things really well, and that book is an actual gem, and I just want to make them. So before I actually take a step back, I'm just gonna go and start it. And I think I've got the perfect combination in my mind, and I want to do some color clash. So I'm thinking about making something with some kind of like limey green and blue, and then something else neutral in the middle. But yeah, that's to come. Now, if you want to make colorwork socks, I've got some really fun ideas, especially if you like to show them with your wardrobe. I've been toying between the Summerly socks and this by, I think her name is Lisa Meissner, and there's something a little bit different. So these ones are the 24/7 socks. They literally said knit, eat, sleep, repeat on the leg of the sock. But I think they're amazing, and yeah, the designer is Lisa Meissner. I think my friends met the designer at Barcelona Knits last year, and they were like, she's lovely and she's really, really nice, and those socks are amazing. So yeah, I was in between the Summerly socks and this, and it could change, but those socks are fabulous. And they're like knitted just in colorwork for like a little bit, and then it's all stuck in it. The other ones are a little bit more complicated because they're not knitted in the round, but hold it. These are the Halfsies socks light by Hannah Sandler. So these ones are knitted flat and is intarsia, and you also have like the DK version of them. But my friend Martha tested this, and I know she doesn't like knitting flat like any of us, especially. She does not bother, but she's not like, oh my god, I'll choose it because of that. And she said that they were a lot of fun to make, that the construction was just very fun and different from any other thing. I think these look amazing, and especially if you like to show them the socks, I just think they look really cool, and it will be a nice way to try intarsia. For the big reveal and something you might be screaming at, I am unraveling my sweet sock blanket. I've not started unraveling because I can't be arsed, but oh, sorry, bother. This is how far I got on it. And it's been since since I can't even remember. I think the last time I knitted on this was December last year. I was living in the other house, so that's been how long? I was making it together with Martha, with my friend, as a scrappy project, and the idea was fabulous and it looks good and all of that. But at some point, I just ran out of steam in the project. It's a lovely blanket, don't get me wrong, I would love to have it, but I don't think this is the way to go for me. I know everyone's like, oh, look good, and I really like it, but at some point I was like, I'm gonna make the bigger size, and I just don't wanna keep going. So the construction is in short rows, and I'm left-handed, so I found that sometimes I had to look at the pattern. It was not intuitive for me because I had to remember how to pick it, and for some reason I could not memorize it. I know there are other left-handed people that would be absolutely fine with that, but for me I was like, this is too much faff for something that I want to make really big, so it's gonna take me a lot of time, and it was not relaxing. I loved it at the start, and at some point I was like, I had too much going on in my life, and I was like, this is stressing me, so I'm letting it go. I'm gonna frog it. I'm gonna use some of this for socks or for my scrappy cardigan in the future. But I think with some of this, I can commit to the Stella cushion because it's a smaller project. And yeah, I think that will not require for me to go through something that basically will become tedious because it will take a long time. Like the Stella cushion can probably be done in like a month, 2 months. And yeah, it was not serving me for the current time, so I'm letting it go. And for all of you screaming at the screen, I'm really sorry. I still like the design, but it's not in this era of my life. So we've done cozy cardigans, colorwork socks, and the next thing that I want in my life is cables. Now, with the red yarn that I had, I was thinking about cable cardigans or cable sweater because I've seen a lot of inspiration on Pinterest, and I was like, this will be nice as a cable cardigan, but mid-range. So also time and, balance, work life and all of that. I've decided to instead make cables in an accessory. Maybe we can put ourselves out of the comfort zone at the start of the year and tackle finally the cable garment. I decided to make a sock that is designed by my friend Marta, who is named so much today, but her name is Quarantine Knitter on Instagram and on Ravelry. She has quite a few patterns and some of them free, by the way. And she made me some socks 2 Christmas ago and loved them. She called them the Rebecca socks when she later released the pattern that I actually also tested. These are the socks that I wear the most. I'll put them over here. Like, I wear them so much over late autumn, start of winter, so they're really thick, they're very easy cable socks. The pattern is really good. It's not because it's my friend, but it's visually really appealing as well, and well laid out, not overwhelming with information. And those are the socks that I wore the most last year, and I've got quite a few because friends tend to gift me socks, but those are the ones that I use the most. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna make another pair, so I've got some yarn for it, but I'm thinking about maybe getting some yarn when and if I go to Barcelona Knits. And I want to learn also how to knit cables without the cable needle, so maybe in something smaller I won't get so overwhelmed. It's not that I get overwhelmed with frustration, but it's usually that if I have 20 minutes to knit, I don't want it to become a thing of I knit and I frog. In the style of cable socks, if you want to make some, I've got some of my favorite, which are called An Ode to October by Sarah Opie. Those are also really nice, and they're also knitted in the K. If you prefer to make cables on a big chunky garment, I've got some options there, but a couple of favorites that have been in my list a long time, apart from the leather cardigan pattern vest, which I own, are the Tendril sweater by the Knitboard Girl, because I like the way that those, and I was about to use the red yarn for this, I like the way that the cables resemble lighting, and I like the designer, and I think they will be a really, really good, fun way of making cables, but just subtle. And then I've got the Naughty Pine cardigan by Anne Hanson. This has been in my to knit or favorite list for a really long time. I think almost from the start of my knitting journey. you know what I mean. And another pattern that I'm gonna frog is going to be a lento. I know you'll be surprised because I'm nothing but a fan of lento. I feel like Jonna Helin, that's still her surname. I think she changed it recently. I feel like the designer like really needs to like sponsor me or something, because the amount of times I talk about the lento in my videos, but I just love it. It's my comfort knit. And at first I thought, is the length. I still have a little bit, I can add some length, but it's not the length. I think I made size 2 with 5mm needles, and the yoke was too tight, the arms were too tight, the fit in here was too tight. I was like, okay, this needs like totally frogging. And I'm repurposing the yarn. I don't know what I will use this yarn for, but yeah, it's one of those things that if you don't really know the person and the measures are taken I remember also that at the end of this I was like done with making it, because I decided to like start a project in December and I was way too stressed at that time of the year. All of us are. So now it's a little, but I'm gonna frog it and make it into something different. I don't think I have enough for me for a lento, so this might become a sleepover, or I'm toying with the idea of something else in the future, but that is being frogged too, because it didn't serve its purpose for the person that was gifted it. She could just not wear it at all, and it is too tight on me, so we're not doing that. The good old boring, but you will always wear it basic. I recently mentioned I started making this thick season sweater by Rebecca Cloak without the stakes, because I like the drop shoulder, and that one is not too pronunciated. That the fit is just really good overall. And I just realized that you need a basic. You need a boring stocking neck project or a couple of them in your life. You will wear them with everything in autumn. You can wear pinafore dresses. You can wear it on top of a dress to make it a fit. You can wear it with, and I like it in grey because I thought, oh, yellow and grey could look really nice. And it's within my color palette. It's not beige, because that's not really a color that suits me. And it's not black, because that's not something that I really want to knit for me right now. And you need a good old, slightly oversized basic in your life. Everyone does. That's why everyone makes them, even if we hate watching people making the same pattern over and over again. We use them, we like them. So that's the one that I'm making. The yarn that I was using is a yarn that my friend Anina gifted me, and it's Novita, and it's a mix of tencel and wool. And it's a delight, and it's just the right amount of thickness for the autumn in here. If you want alternatives for these patterns, I saw that recently the designer from the Lento also released 4 designs, because I think actually Novita has made a collaboration with Liner magazine, and one of them really caught my eye, and it's called the Stormfell sweater. It has a roll neck, a slightly oversized look. It's made in a very, very nice dark blue color. I thought you could make it without the roll neck, and it's a really nice staple, and I would trust the designer because she made a lento, you know. And another one that I really, really liked is by Vert knit, and her pattern is called, hold on a minute, the matcha sweater. Obviously the color of the season, but I think if you made it in any other color, and again I know it's a roll neck sweater, but I think you can easily modify it to be just a crew neck, and the fit looks really nice. I know people have knitted her patterns that they tell me they're really thorough. To finish, I would like to show you the last sweater that I'm gonna frog, but it's currently sitting in the freezer. And again, I feel terrible because it's from one of the designers that I mentioned before, but I'm frogging the Rest sweater by Lizzie by Hive Knits. I love that sweater, but there's 2 things why it no longer serves its purpose. The combination of the stripes in those pinks over here with that green, there's something about it that doesn't fit all the other bottoms that I have in my wardrobe. And 2, the neck is a sewn neck. It's a double folded neck that you sewn before you cast on, or you increase for like the raglan and all of that. I really like the pattern and the way that it sits here. But the neck, because I think my gauge mass has been off when I started like doing the collar, and I saw it's too tight. So it's a mock neck, but it sits too tight in here and almost strangles me, so I never wear it. I have been trying to figure out if I could cut it, and I could cut it through the yoke and then unravel the neck and do something else, because I would probably do like a normal collar. But at the same time, I also want to make the sleeves a little bit longer because they're like bracelet. And just do it all, I thought, if I'm gonna do that, I may as well just frog it. I really like the pattern and I really like how it fit here. I remember that the yoke fit really well. But again, right now, I would like something slightly more oversized for my style and my vibe. And that's just not making it for projects frogging. But like, look at how much yarn I'm getting back. Well, this marks the end of this video. So this is all of the autumn knitwear pieces that I'll be adding to my wardrobe, and 4 that I'm actually removing. If you enjoy this type of content, I hope to see you soon. I'm not really sure when. I would appreciate if you give me a like if you like it, just for feedback, or subscribe to the channel. I would really like to know if there's anything that you're casting on for autumn that you think it's really going to work and it's been missing from your wardrobe, or equally if there's anything that, like me, you are unraveling because you decided that it does no longer serve the purpose and you want to give the yarn a second chance. And with that, I wish you a lovely day, week, month, and take care of yourselves, and I'll see you soon. Bye.